Always remember, anything that you may see presented in any of the stories here is in no way meant to diagnose or treat a particular problem in your personal pet. Only your veterinarian can do that after examining your pet thoroughly. So if you do have any concerns about a health problem in your pet, you definitely want to make a call to your veterinarian today. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Spay, Neuter, Save Stories. And with me is a very special cat named Grettle, who is about to get her dinner feeding, and we have to do it through a special feeding tube that she has because of a condition that Grettle developed called hepatic lipidosis, or fatty liver disease. And this is something that happens in cats from time to time if they don't eat for a little bit. And Grettle came to us via another rescue and had some liver issues going on initially. We took some blood work and realized she was fighting a little bit of an inflammation in her liver, commonly called hepatitis. Weren't quite exactly sure what was causing it, and that part seemed to slowly resolve on its own. But unfortunately, because the liver was making her feel kind of crappy, she wasn't eating very well, and so just like in you or I, when the body is not taking in enough calories, it starts to break down its own fats to provide those calories and energy. Now, in you or I, usually that's not a major problem. Unfortunately, in cats, their livers just don't really like the type of fats that are created when they're broken down like that, and it can lead to these fatty deposits forming on their liver that then leads to kind of swelling of the liver a little bit, the liver getting very, very filled with fat deposits, and a pigment called bilirubin starts to build up. And so the cats become very yellow. They become very icteric, as we say. So the whites of their eyes, their gums, their skin, everything starts really turning this very tinted yellow color. And then they really start feeling crappy. They start vomiting. They don't do well. And it just kind of creates a perpetual cycle of not wanting to eat, fatty liver getting worse, and they kind of spiral downhill. So what we have to do to kind of bring them out of this is to go ahead and basically get them back into what we call a positive energy balance. And that's what we've been doing with our little Grettle here, who is one of the sweetest calicos, I must say, that I have ever met. And we do that via what's known as an esophagostomy feeding tube. So we did have to put her under a quick-acting general anesthetic, and we placed a feeding tube into the side of her neck, into her esophagus, so that we can provide food directly into her stomach, bypassing the mouth and forcing her to eat, or even trying to force feed her. So what we do in order to feed her is we have the tube right here. We're just gonna pop the opening, like so. She's gonna get herself nice and comfortable. We pop the tube of food, and this is a very high calorie food, and a very kind of calorie nutrient dense food, as we say. So this way we don't have to give a ton of it for her to get the calorie contents that she needs. And this will go directly into her esophagus through this tube, and we do a little bit at a time and let it kind of move on through, and then we'll go ahead and give a little bit more. And she'll get about 3 to 4 of these syringes, and she tolerates it very, very well. She takes it like a champ. Some cats are not as tolerant of the feeding tubes, and really our hope is eventually that as things start to heal and as she starts to get better, that she will start eating on her own. And that's all we're really waiting for. There, it's sometimes cats will start eating right away as soon as you put the food in. Sometimes I think it is just to spite us, but other times they take months. I've had cats sometimes that we've had to tube feed for months before we've gotten them to start eating on their own. So we'll start using some appetite stimulants and things like that, and we'll probably recheck her blood work in another week or so. But she seems to be turning the corner and doing really, really well. And that is amazing in a lot of ways, because sometimes once they get really sick or really severe with this condition, it's very hard, even with feeding tubes, to pull them out of it. But she has been a little trooper, and we are only really able to do this because of the support that you give us. If I had to ballpark the amount of money that we probably have invested in her, that would be charged if she was, receiving care at a private practice or a place like that, we've probably already invested the equivalent of $2,000 to $3,000 into her care and her feeding and her constant monitoring, blood work, all of that stuff. So please, 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 anything you can donate through our Patreon page, please consider becoming a member of our Patreon page. This is what allows us to do what we do, and she is, direct proof of your donation dollars going directly to our causes, and every cent goes to doing what I'm doing right now. The food that she gets is a special type of food that has to be purchased as well. This is not just regular over-the-counter cat food. It's like I said, it's a very specially designed food of high calorie content to be able to allow her to get back into that positive energy balance, and that's what we want. So she is doing incredibly, incredibly well. We want to thank you again all for following along with all the stories that we share here at Spay, Neuter, Save, and please consider giving what you can, either through becoming a monthly member of Patreon, where you get to see all these amazing stories of the animals that we're helping, or through just a one-time donation. You can do that through our website, SpayNeuterSaveNetwork.org. Again, SpayNeuterSaveNetwork.org. You can go there to make your donation. You can do it through our Patreon page, through these stories. Please, anything you can give really, really helps. And without your support, little Grettle here would not stand a chance at all. But she is on the mend, hopefully, and doing much better. And we will, of course, be providing updates to you as we go along. And hopefully, in another week or so, we'll be able to show you another update with her where she's eating on her own, feeling better, and her blood work looks a ton better as well. So please consider giving what you can for cats like Grettle and all the animals that we help here at Spay, Neuter, Save. Thank you for your support, and be sure to tune in for more amazing Spay, Neuter, Save stories throughout this entire year.